Food and weight obsession can be exhausting. Losing weight, gaining weight, dieting, feeling like a failure because you missed a workout, binged, overate, or gained all the weight back. The cycle is endless and it can be maddening. But I'm here to say you can stop the mental madness. You can take back control of your food behaviors, but you have to face your fears, you have to ask for help, and make a change. I am Leslie M. Thornton, permanent weight loss coach from hpwl.co. This is Hypnosis for permanent weight loss, and I know you can make this happen. On this podcast, you will hear how to stop the mental madness, love your body, trust your food decisions so you can create a life of happiness, freedom, and inner peace. So the first thing, just a couple things to introduce you to tonight. First of all, welcome. I'm really happy that you're here. We've been doing this for, I think, almost 2 years now, monthly. I see some familiar faces. So if you're coming back, welcome back. And each time it gets richer. And like we talked about, we've been doing different themes for these events. And this time is kind of a post-Valentine's Day. So bringing in that self-love for yourself in regards to your relationship with your food, with your body, and with your weight. So getting really real and talking with you from the heart. And please, the more engaged that we are, okay, as a community, the better results that you can get from your evening tonight. The opposite of addiction is connection. Yeah. So who here knows that they sometimes can isolate themselves or kind of identify as being a very strong person who doesn't normally ask for help or share their feelings or your vulnerabilities? Just type that in the chat and let's just make tonight a really safe place to actually, just be real about, what is going on with our food, body, and weight stuff, regardless of the space that you're in. So I know that food stuff, that weight stuff, that it stresses you out. Just type in the chat if food stuff, if weight stuff stresses you out. Give me an amen in the chat if it does. And I know that you used to be maybe a health freak or a fitness freak, and maybe still are in ways or identify yourself like that in ways. But I also know that you're gaining weight. You're scared of gaining more and more and more. And maybe you notice that when you look back at photographs of yourself from 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you see yourself and say, I remember feeling fat in that photo, but now I'm way fatter. I know that's not the nicest thing to say, but I know how we talk to ourselves underneath the surface. So who can relate to that? Just type me in the chat if you can relate to always thinking that you don't look good, and then year after year, you keep gaining more and more weight. Thank you for that honesty. Yes. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I see you, Carolyn and Amy and Dorothy. And yes, everybody, Tammy, Nicole, I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay. So you know all the right things to do. You can probably write books on how to lose weight. You could just make sure that you're muted. That would be amazing. Thank you. You know how to lose weight, right? Like who here could write a book or two about how to lose weight? Loretta, I see you. Yeah, Dorothy, right? That's not the issue. We know how to lose weight. But why can't we actually do the things that make a difference if we know how to do it? Yeah. You've also come a long way in regards to your health. You've accomplished a lot of things. There's things you've probably overcome in your health journey that have been remarkable, whether it's been significant weight loss in the past or learning how to manage certain other issues that you've had. But when it comes to emotional eating, you never mastered it. Type in the chat if you can just really look at it for yourself and recognize, like, actually, I never mastered emotional eating. I never actually learned how to feel my feelings and to be able to get past emotional eating, actually. Maybe I dieted and I was able to like not do it because I was on the diet. But unless I'm on a diet, I'm emotionally eating. I see you, Tammy. I see you, Sherry. Yep, Beth, 100%. Eat for comfort. Yep. Didn't even realize emotional eating until I found you. I was like, I got it. Absolutely. Yep. Sometimes we don't really realize it. Yep. Got it. Yeah. Okay. My chat's over here. So if you see my eyes going over, I'm just connecting with you guys. Totally, totally, totally. Okay. So we never mastered emotional eating. All right. So, and honestly, you've been dealing with this your entire life. And now you're jaded from diets because they haven't lasted. You've gained all the weight back. You gained even more weight back. Type amen in the chat if that's you. And you're honestly exhausted by it all. You're giving up and just honestly scared. Like, I remember being so scared, and I'm going to tell you more about how I understand who you are so well. And it's because I am you. I was you. I get it. I was terrified of gaining an incredible amount of weight. Like, literally thought that I couldn't control myself, that I was a food addict, and just did not think that I was ever going to be able to stop. I used to have an expression of once I pop, I just can't stop. If anyone remembers the Pringles commercials. And it was like funny, but not funny at all because I was hitting the panic button. Hitting the panic button. Yeah. So, and what you really want is a permanent way out. Type, that's me. If what you really would like to have more than anything is a permanent way out of all the mental madness. Nicole, I see you. Diane, Beth. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. But can that actually exist? Is that actually possible? Yeah. So you're still triggered by the scale, whether you're stepping on it every day, multiple times a day, or haven't in a long time, and that hasn't worked either. The scale triggers you. Type yes, the scale triggers me in the chat if that's you. Seeing yourself in the mirror, maybe you don't look at yourself in the mirror at all. Or when you do, you're always saying, ugh, like, oh, it's disgusting, or picking at your rolls or whatever that is. Yeah. Trying on clothes. Exactly. Putting on a pair of pants that are too tight. Is that the worst? Yes. And photographs of yourself. Absolutely. Say amen. FaceTime. I see you, Nicole. Yep. And even this call. And again, invite you if your camera's off, turn it on. Face the fear. We're all here in this together. Absolutely. All right. Yeah. And it's just like, oh my gosh, someone takes a camera out. It's like, please don't put me in that photo. And yet you also have guilt and shame about that because you realize that you're not leaving family memories behind because you're not in photos, because you have so much guilt and shame about the way you look. Type that's me if that's ever been your situation or is currently. I hear you. Yeah. I see you, Nicole. Yep. Totally, totally, totally. So, and you're constantly saying to yourself, you shouldn't be doing this when it comes to eating off your plan. Like, you shouldn't be doing this when you're eating the sweets or you're having the carbs or eating late at night or you're snacking during the day, right? I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but you're doing it anyway. And then you say to yourself, okay, I'll just have one bite. Right. I remember going into the refrigerator, into the freezer and being like, okay, I'm going to take my one spoon and I'm going to get one spoonful of ice cream and then I'm not going to have any more. And I'd go with my spoon and I'd go back into the living room and I'd sit down on the couch and I'd had my spoonful. And before I knew it, I was back up and doing the same thing again and again and again and again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have just had a bowl because now I'm having even more than a bowl full because I'm trying to tell myself I'm only going to eat this certain amount and I'm not. Say that's me if you can relate. I see you, I hear you, and I know what you really want is to not stress about this anymore. To not be anxious in this area of your life anymore. Like, can we be done with this? You've been dealing with this your entire life. Type in the chat, what age were you when you started focusing on weight? What age were you when you first started focusing on weight? 10 or 11, 20, 16, grade school, 13, 20. Okay, now type in the chat, now that you're so young, I don't even remember grade school. Okay, now type in the chat how many years that means that you've not been able to master this. How many years total have you been struggling with your weight? 40 years, 32 years, 40 years, 45 years, 40 years, 44 years, 55 plus years. Okay. Now, this can be a little tough, but I want you to actually type in the chat what you've missed out on or what have you not been able to fully appreciate and enjoy about life because of your decades and decades of worrying about your weight. What have you missed out on? Diane, everything. Confidence, holidays, enjoying beach vacations with friends. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Feeling confident, spending time with a friend, doing stuff, wearing shorts, finding someone who couldn't have loved me, feeling good about myself. Yes, 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 yes. Living life. Exactly. Like, honestly, that is, that's pretty tough. Loving myself and fully enjoying my life. Whew. It's really real. And that's a very long time for us to be missing out on these truly valueless aspects of life, priceless aspects of life, of just being able to be present, to have fun, to enjoy, to be there in the experience with the people you love right now. Whew. Okay, so just write done in all caps in the chat if you are absolutely done with wasting any more time worrying about this anymore. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Good for you. Okay, and I want you to take what you're saying right now seriously because prior to my finding hypnosis, before that you're about to experience tonight, I literally thought that it was just a plague that I was going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. I didn't believe or know that there was a way out. I didn't know that I could actually be done with that. And I'm here to tell you, maybe for the first time, that it's possible and it can be done. I've worked with hundreds of clients and we've been able to get them out of the vicious cycle of diet mentality and the crazy train of thinking about this 24/7 anymore. And it was through my decades of suffering and struggling with this and buying and doing every diet under the sun and continually to think that I found the way out and only to find that it was another disappointment and I would gain it all back again and more and be more miserable at the end, for me to actually put all the pieces together. I had a client go through the program and she had been struggling with it her whole life and she found bits and pieces that were helpful along the way. And she was like, Leslie, like, I can't believe that you actually took everything that I learned and filled in the missing pieces I didn't have and packaged it together into one program that actually is a solution for people or they're not dealing with this in just 8 weeks of time. Okay. And for some of you, you may not be in a space where you're, needing or wanting that. But for those of you who are resonating, which I can tell in the chat, like, then it may be time. Right. And it's like there's the argument of we've already spent way too much time dealing with this and wasting a lot of time for this one precious life we have on earth. Perfect. So as I'm kind of introducing myself as I'm talking, but just to finish up on that last thought, it's like, I know that you don't want to be anxious in this area of your life anymore. You want to be able to focus on other things. You want to be able to focus on your family and your experiences that you want to have in your life, right? Special, friends and making special memories and traveling and maybe, building your career and your financial health, right? Just want to be active again, or maybe, for the first time in a long time, and just have fun. And yet you can't because you're too busy, you're too stressed. And a lot of times it's too stressed about this issue. The food, body, and weight issues are in the way. So it's time to stop obsessing. You put done in the chat. You can type done in the chat again if you want, and start living, like truly, truly, truly living your life in full color, right? Who here knows about black and white thinking? It's just like I'm either on the diet or I'm completely off the diet, right? And it's like that, let's consider that you've been living your whole life in black and white. Like there is a whole other dimensionality that's possible to live in, like living in full color. And it's amazing. It's like, I don't know if any of you remember if you are nearsighted or started out that way anyway, and you first put on your first pair of glasses after you start becoming nearsighted. And it's like you can, like, the vividness of putting on that pair of glasses for the first time is like, like I still remember that moment of when I looked up at the trees and was like, could see the little intricacies of the leaves on the trees. Tell me if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I've never shared this with anyone. And like the beauty that I was looking at and like the vividness of the colors, and it was just like breathtaking. And I can honestly say that getting past my food addiction has been like that. Like it has been like putting on this new pair of glasses and like I'm like, "Oh my God, that's what life looks like." Who here wants that? Who here wants that? Type me in the chat. Okay, so I'm Leslie Thornton. I'm so happy that you're here. I was absolutely like you. Okay, I was a health nut. I was actually a personal trainer. I'm an actual registered nurse by trade. I got my bachelor's of science in nursing. I knew it all when it came to health. I studied holistic health. I was kind of against modern medicine, except for, the places where we really need it. I wasn't into pills or diets, or I mean, diet pills or anything like that. And so I understood, how food was medicine and how we could heal ourselves and our bodies and, all the things. I knew exactly how to eat, all the science, all the right things to do. I could write several books about how to lose weight. And yet, honestly, after a point, I was binge eating. I was closet eating. I was emotionally eating and honestly drinking alcohol too, which didn't make the eating any better. Yeah. And I was pretending to be perfect and a really like great healthy eater in front of friends, in front of family. And then on the way home from a family party, and I actually did this one day, I stopped at a gas station on the way home and bought absolute junk and alcohol after just like waving my flag of saying how bad sugar was and how I never ingested it. And that was a problem for me because I value integrity. And so it felt like I was like starting to play Jekyll and Hyde, and it was embarrassing. It was shameful. Yeah. And I was honest. I was single, right? I was always a serial monogamist. I was in relationships my whole life, but I would always end up waking up after a certain amount of time unhappy in that relationship and would end up leaving. And my friendships weren't the richest. They were okay, but they weren't the richest. And regardless of what amount of money was in my bank account, I never felt financially safe or secure. Type amen if you can relate to any of those things that I'm saying. Never felt secure. And on top of that, I felt like I couldn't advance my career if I wasn't in shape. I felt like I couldn't attract my ideal relationship if I wasn't in shape. I felt like I couldn't travel because I'd eat too much while I was away, and that would stress me out. It was like no matter where, my dad said this before I started traveling. He's like, no matter where you go, there you are. And it was like traveling seemed like an amazing escape, but my crazy ass brain that was upset about the way I was eating and whether or not my pants were going to fit the next day would come right there with me. And it was like, honestly, it was very torturous. Who can relate to traveling and having constant food, body, and weight thoughts as you're gone? Yep, absolutely. So, yeah. So I was literally stuck between a rock and a hard place because I had zero energy left. Like, I mean, zero energy left. I couldn't diet anymore. It was exhausting. But I was couldn't give up either because I was afraid that if without the diet and without me following rules anymore, that I would end up on that TV show, My 600-Pound Life. Does anyone remember that show or watch it? I think it's still on. I literally thought that if left to my own devices, I would end up on My 600-Pound Life. So it was like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Like, I can't diet anymore, but I also can't trust that I'm not going to end up really fat and unhappy. Yep. So, yes, glad everybody here, you wouldn't be here if you didn't resonate with the stuff that we put out about this. So, I want you to know that you're in the right place. And again, I want you to know that there is a way out. Let me be the first to say it, and the living testament. And Imogen also is a previous client of ours, and she's on the team now. So she's supporting you in the chat. She also got her freedom and way out. And it's possible for anyone who's willing to do what it takes to get there. It's not necessarily easy after decades and decades of dieting and programming your brain on the right and wrong way to eat. But for some of us, it's worth it. For some of us, being able to be present with our lives and our families and our friends and our happiness and having experiences and really truly enjoying them, it's worth it. So, yes. Okay. And then, so for some others of you, you may have just come to see about hypnosis. And if so, that's great. You're also going to get that and have this great experience. And like I'm kind of talking about, and again, so glad you guys came tonight. So we could see how much we're all resonating with what I'm saying. Like, it's a pretty severe thing. I kind of had to own for myself that even though I was never diagnosed with an eating disorder, like I definitely had a mental health issue when it came to constantly thinking about this in my life. And it required some major upheaval. I've had friends of mine, be severely anorexic and whatever. And the type of treatment that they had, I don't believe is the right treatment that actually helps people permanently get out of those situations. Um, and I know that I'm an expert in helping people release the emotional eating that holds us back. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm not scared of emotions at all. I think they're amazing. And I love to help you feel them faster, better, stronger so you can experience peace, joy, happiness, and be present. Yeah. So, and I used to be someone who never showed my emotions and I was always strong. But I realized that was also the problem. Yeah. So, for those of you who are resonating fully to what I'm saying, you may need the full shebang. All right. So, here's how tonight's going to go. So, I'm going to help you let go of the panic button tonight. All right. I call it releasing the emotional valve. All right. And again, it's one of my favorite things to do. And there's many ways to release the emotional release valve. But tonight you're going to experience hypnosis as the avenue to do that. It was the first thing that I found that showed me that, oh my gosh, maybe there is a way out that's easier than I could have ever thought. And it's my great joy to introduce it to people and hopefully a way you never have had it introduced to you before. Um, and then once you feel free, okay, once your panic button is turned down a little bit, and just be honest, like who prior to getting onto this call felt like their panic button about gaining weight, like was triggered today, was triggered yesterday, was triggered the day before? Just type yes in the chat if your panic button about gaining weight has gone off in the last 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Whew. And who here is feeling a little bit of like, oh my God, maybe there's hope after this conversation? Just type hope in the chat if like this has been helpful to you so far. Just hearing this. Amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So, okay, the hypnosis is going to support you with that panic button. And I like to be also very honest. Because where I find when people have experienced hypnosis in the past, they're like, it worked for a while and then it stopped working. That was my experience as well. So, hypnosis can support you in knowing what it feels like to be someone who is at peace in this area of your life. You can feel it almost immediately, and it may last several days. And it's not a permanent solution. It's not the only avenue necessary to actually permanently learn how to have what I have today and be able to live your life in full color and experience all the beauty and joy and wonder that life is and the possibilities that exist for you and your future and your life, your relationships, your family, etc. So, I just like to be upfront about that. This isn't the only solution, okay? There are other avenues required to get the full shebang. So, what naturally happens once you feel that initial freedom, though, from the hypnosis, is that we as human beings have the ability to have spaciousness enough to say, okay, what's next? Yeah. So it's the same as like, okay, say you're like working really hard for a long time to like save up enough money to buy a car that you need. And then you get the car and immediately your brain says, what's next? Okay. It's just a natural human phenomenon. But consider that because your brain is thinking about food, body, and weight stuff all the time, you're not able to see what's next. And you haven't been able to see what's next for you in your life for 40 years or however many years you put in the chat that you've been dealing with it because it's occupied so much real estate in the brain. So I want to support you in getting to experience the spaciousness that is there behind all of this mental chatter and to be able to get present to what's next. Okay, that was the start of my journey and the start of all my clients' journeys. It's like, first, let's release the fear and anxiety about weight gain and not being able to control ourselves. And then let's learn how to do that for good so you can actually live a life you love. Say amen in the chat if you'd like that. Amen in the chat. Amazing. All right. So, since getting past my food addiction, right, from actually doing the full shebang, okay, and a lifetime of emotional eating, I started dieting when I was 8 years old. All right. I have traveled the world. I traveled 12 countries in 2.5 years as a digital nomad, solo entrepreneur, and met incredible people, learned so many things about how other human beings are. It was also kind of like my research to understand how people's different mindsets were in different countries around weight and around food. And it really helps me be a better coach today because I understand Italians, I understand Indians, I understand Australians, I understand, Mexicans, I understand. I'm just thinking of all of the clients that I've had from all over the world and like just to them to have me understand their culture can be so helpful. Type in the chat if you have um, your nationality might have some, interesting cultural things when it comes to food, body, and weight stuff. I think we all do. Irish, right? Um, yeah, what nationality do you have? And, we can connect in that way as well and see how you are eating. Um, Also, I left a nursing job that I was not aligned with. Okay. I loved it while I was in there, but I knew that I had a bigger calling to help people specifically with this. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been trained professionally as a coach. I've been trained professionally as a hypnotherapist, trained professionally as a neurolinguistic programming trainer. I do timeline therapy. I've done all different modalities. I've been in extensive conscious leadership training for years and years. I'm a master at communication, family relationships. These all things matter in order to have a permanent change with your weight because you can't take your life out of your emotional eating, right? Because life is emotional. And so if you're not mastering life, you're not mastering your emotional eating. Yeah. So doing this work, helping people do this is absolutely my vocation. I love it. I haven't gotten tired of it in 10 years. All right. And right now I am in a ridiculously healthy and happy relationship that's heading towards marriage, which was a lifelong desire. And I'm very happy about it. And it took work as well. So I also help people with relationship stuff a lot because of my own experience. I'm also financially free emotionally, which if you've been following my podcast for a while, that's been the journey I've been on for a while. Um, and damn, that was a big one as well. I own 2 properties now as a single woman. I have a very cute little white Pomeranian dog. I'm happy she's not barking right now. Hopefully she'll keep it that way through the hypnosis. I have really great friends. I have an amazing team. Um, I have a podcast, which if you haven't listened to it, it's one of the 1% top podcasts out there. And yeah, we have over 200 episodes of me just sharing all the insides of my journey. So if you haven't checked that out, then please feel free to do so. It's on our website, it's on Spotify, it's on all the platforms. None of anything that I've created would have been possible if I didn't quiet down my crazy brain. Thank you for putting the podcast in the chat so I can listen to my inner self. If I didn't quiet down my crazy brain so I could listen to my inner self and actually know like who I am, what do I want? What feels good to me? What foods feel good to me? What way of moving my body feels good to me? Right? Like that's where the real freedom comes is when you're having conversations with yourself and not conversations with your inner critic or with your mom from the past saying you shouldn't eat that, or your grandma from the past who used to say you're looking fat, or to or to your doctor who said that you have a slow metabolism, or from your whoever, right? To social media that says you should be a size 7 when the average size of Americans is like 12, right? It's just like all of that is brainwashing, right? But like, let's focus on you, your body, your wants, your needs, right? And that was the process. That's the process I bring my clients through so I could calm down my mind, stop abandoning myself, which I was doing. I was getting mad at myself all the time for making any kind of mistake in general, but definitely with my food, body, and weight stuff. Right. I had to clear the shame that kept telling me that there was something wrong with me, that there was something wrong with me. I was an addict. There was nothing wrong with me. I actually saw a healer in Bali. If anyone watched Eat, Pray, Love, I kind of had my own edition of the Bali part. And I asked him while I was there, I was like, what about my food addiction? Um, and he said, he put his hand on my forehead or something. And he was like, there's no addiction. He was like, it's only in your mind. And I want to tell you the same thing right now. Like, there is no addiction. It's just you're believing that there's an addiction that makes you feel all the crazy stuff. Who here believes, maybe you're starting to not, but that there's an addiction, that you're an addictive personality, that you're a food addict, that you're a sugar addict, you can't control yourself. Just type yes in the chat if you've ever thought that before or you think that now. Addicted to chocolate. I know. Okay. I'm going to tell you that you're not, but I will tell you that um, it's just an emotional, you just haven't felt your feelings. You haven't healed this stuff. from the root cause, right? You haven't really. So willpower comes from just new habits and behaviors, brand new. Eating and ways of eating is not new. You've been doing it since you could chew. Yeah. And so we need to stop focusing on willpower and start focusing on healing. Healing, 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 healing. Okay. So again, hypnosis is a very healing tool, and it's one out of many, and it's not the only tool, but I'm excited to share it with you tonight. All right. Nothing wrong with you. You're in the right place and it's amazing. You just haven't found a way out yet. So I'm excited for your future because it's never coincidence that you end up in something like this. I really believe that people who end up working with me, there was a divine connection at the right time. I can't tell you, like every single one of my clients was like, oh my God, I found you in the weirdest way. And like, I feel like a deceased family member of mine sent you to me. Like I've been praying about this for so long, and I feel like this is the answer to my prayers. Um, and it's just my biggest job, but like chosen responsibility to keep putting this message out there so that more people can hear the calling, because I know there's so much more. And I just really appreciate your showing up and, answering the call and showing up today. We had like at least 70 people registered for this, and you are the ones who actually showed up. So I really acknowledge you for that. And if you're watching the replay, I acknowledge you for watching the replay. It's a big deal. Most people don't actually show up and take the action. So way to be, that small percentage. All right, so let's learn how to be free. Let's help you turn the panic button off. Let's talk about hypnosis. So let's see one more time again in the chat, like who here has experienced hypnosis before? Type yes if you have. Okay, got it. Cool, cool, cool. Good. We have a lot of people who've experienced hypnosis before. Great. People who have come back. I love it. All right. So then we won't need too much of a refresher, but it's scientific. Okay. There's no brainwashing. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. You've been hypnotized into being a black and white thinker, a dieter, a perfectionist, trying to stay perfect on your diet your whole life. Okay, so hypnosis, we've now learned with neuroplasticity that through the act of quieting down the crazy trained part of your mind, then we can access the unconscious part of your mind, which is in charge of 95% of the results that you automatically get in your life. All right, it's like we're actually healing the energy that is creating a lot of the behaviors and habits that don't work. Okay, so yes, so hypnosis allows you to experience what it feels like to be a normal eater. Okay. So again, who here wants to learn how to feel like a normal eater? Can just type it in the chat. Yes, let's feel it. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So again, no BS claims. You're going to feel what it feels like after this. You're going to notice different changes, whether major or subtle, with your eating, with your drinking in the next several days. But it will wear off and you will go back to old habits unless you take the full action, right? You choose to learn how to be a free eater that we teach you how to do inside of our signature Fast Track to Freedom program. It comes with an app, okay, that you have your hypnosis, your emotional mastery tools, your 8 weekly modules that teach you the food freedom mindset. You have live coaching calls, you have one-on-one calls, you have 2 somatic healing sessions with a woman who I couldn't trust more with your somatic healing, and a private community that's just for you. So if you want to invest in your future and your health because you get how necessary coaching is for the fastest and least painful way to get you where you want to go, to have permanent food freedom mindset, then you can book a call with us. And I'll actually have Imogen put up the link now. If you know that you want the full shebang, that what I'm saying is making a lot of sense to you, it's just resonating, and you want to have a session. So I've opened up my calendar just for the next 2 days, for a 45-minute call together. Sometimes it goes a little over, sometimes a little bit under, depending on where you're at. And we just jump on Zoom. You get a one-on-one call. It's kind of like your first coaching call. It's totally free. And you have a chance to share what your journey has been because there's no one size fits all. You've been through your own unique life and hardship and challenge and have different struggles with food than other people. So we get to look at that together, and then look at where you really want to be. And if I know that our program is a good fit for you, then I'll let you know all the details of it and we can get you started right away. So that link is in the calendar. And again, just open for the next few days. If you need a different time, please privately message Imogen and we will make sure that we get you a time that works for you on the calendar. Beautiful. And like I said, Imogen did do the program. She can tell you how great the program worked for her. I'm actually after the hypnosis session for anyone who wants to stay on. I'm actually going to pop off. I've never done that before, but I just want people to have a safe place to hear her story without me there, and to, answer any questions that you may have about the full program. Um, yeah, that you have. Beautiful. All right. So great. Ready for the hypnosis? Type yes in the chat if you're ready for the hypnosis. The moment we've all been waiting for. Perfect. All right, let's do it. Okay, couple quick notes. So, number one, if you need to tell anybody to kind of leave you be for the next several minutes, then please do so now. If you need to turn off any alarms or put your phone in do not disturb mode or anything that could distract you like that, go ahead and do that now. Um, if there are distractions that you weren't anticipating that come up during the hypnosis, if my dog barks, if your dog barks, if an alarm goes off, if your phone rings, if your husband walks in, it doesn't ruin it. Okay. So don't worry about that. Just as soon as you can, just get back to the sound of my voice and keep going. It still can work even if it gets interrupted. Okay. Another thing during the hypnosis, you may hear certain foods that you're like, oh my God, I don't want to give that food up. I love nuts, for example. All right. The point of the hypnosis is to have you have food neutrality emotionally around these foods. It's not that you will never eat them again. It's just making it so they're not so sparkly. Who knows what I mean when I say sparkly? Like when you see your favorite food come out, it's like your body's like, and you're like, I need to have that. I gotta have that. I want to have that. How can I have that? I want to make sure I have that before it's gone. Okay. Yeah. Makes us feel like addicts, right? Chocolate sparkles, Amy. I get it. Okay. So we want to, it's just, don't be afraid if you hear a food that you love, you can still love it. It's just going to be less sparkly. And that's really nice to have. Okay. That's where food freedom comes in. Beautiful. And then finally, if you're a person of faith, I know some people have asked me questions about that. I find that hypnosis actually brings clients of faith closer to their spirituality. So no worries there. Perfect. All right. So let's dive in. So when you're ready, just get nice and comfortable. You can close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Good. Another nice deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Beautiful. And then I want you to progressively relax your body by squeezing your muscles. So I want you to start with your head and I want you to squeeze your eyes, your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw, your teeth. Just squeeze all muscles in your face. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. And release and let go. Deep breath. Beautiful. And then go ahead and shrug your shoulders up to your ears. And then I want you to squeeze all your muscles from your hands to all of your arms and squeeze your shoulders up to your ears and just squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. And relax. Let go. Release all tension now. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Now going into your torso, go ahead and squeeze, clench up all the muscles in your abdomen, your upper abdomen, your lower abdomen, just your entire torso. And then go ahead and squeeze your buttocks. Just squeeze everything that you can in your whole upper body. And 3, 2, 1, relax. Inhale and exhale. Really good. Good. And then finally relaxing your and squeezing your lower body. So squeeze your toes, your ankles, your calves, your thighs to the best of your ability. And you can do your buttocks again, your whole lower body. Just squeeze, 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 squeeze everything in your lower body and relax. Release and let go now. Nice deep breath in and out. Good. Imagining a beautiful warm blanket is just wrapped around your body now. And there's a beautiful white light hovering above your head, and that light just moves all the way through your body and just takes away any stress, any tension, any worry, any anxiety, and it just dissipates all the way down into the earth now. Completely dissipates now, disappears, and lets go. Beautiful. I want you to imagine that you are standing on top of a staircase now. There are 4 stairs going down below you. And notice that your body is exactly the way you want it to look. You are lean, strong, and healthy. And know that the way that your body has become lean, strong, and healthy is not the result of any kind of diet, any kind of restriction or struggle. The way that your body has now become lean, strong, and healthy is the result of you taking inspired, authentic, healthy action for yourself automatically. And just see yourself as you stand in your lean, strong, and healthy body, looking down that staircase now, fully inside your body now. And in a moment, I'm going to count you down the stairs from 10 to 1. With each stair, you're going to become more and more relaxed, safe to let go. Beginning your descent down the stairs from 10 and 9, 8, and 7. More and more relaxed now. That's right. 6 and 5, 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Bottom of the stairs. Your body has moved into a meditative, profoundly relaxed state now. It is here where your unconscious mind is most open and most receptive to what's coming in. During this hypnosis, you may hear every word that I say, or you may simply drift off and dream. And know that whatever way that you receive this hypnosis today is exactly the way you need to hear it. See yourself looking down at your feet and notice that your feet are bare and you can see the most beautiful green grass coming up between your toes as you stand in the grass, feeling the coolness of the grass underneath your feet now. Notice that you can smell this grass, how good it smells. Notice it's the most beautiful, sunny, delightful day you can imagine as you look up and see a gorgeous field. The sky is blue. There's not a cloud in sight. The most beautiful blue color you can imagine. That's right. The trees are swaying in the breeze, going back and forth, just so elegantly. There's birds that are floating in the breeze. And notice that as you look in front of you, you notice that there is a hot air balloon. Maybe you've seen this balloon before, maybe it's the first time, but notice that this is a new balloon now. Notice the color of the hot air balloon. Notice the wicker basket beneath it. And just allow yourself to begin approaching the hot air balloon now. And put your hands right on the basket, on the side of the basket as you're right up near it now. And notice that outside of the tank that fuels the balloon, this basket is empty and it's ready for its load. You now have the opportunity to release your entire old relationship that no longer serves you around food, body, and weight. See yourself putting chocolate in the basket, all types of chocolate. Safe to let it go. See yourself putting other types of desserts and sweets in the basket. See yourself putting ice cream in the basket. See yourself putting cookies in the basket. See yourself putting cakes in the basket. See yourself putting baked goods in the basket, brownies. See yourself putting candy in the basket, chocolate candy, any other types of candy in the basket now. It's safe to let it all go. See yourself putting any type of alcohol in the basket, wine, beer, liquor, cocktails. Safe to let it go. See yourself putting salty, crunchy snacks in the basket. See yourself putting popcorn in the basket. See yourself putting chips in the basket. See yourself putting any type of nut in the basket. All types of nuts, cashews, almonds, peanuts, pistachios. See yourself putting nut butters in the basket, peanut butter, almond butter. Safe to let it go. Good. See yourself putting pasta in the basket, any parmesans in the basket. See yourself putting any types of comfort foods, maybe mac and cheese in the basket, any type of macaroni salad. Safe to let it go. Good. See yourself putting bread in the basket, all types of bread. Safe to let it go. See yourself putting cheese in the basket, hard cheeses, soft cheeses, any kind of cheese in the basket now. Safe to let it go. See yourself putting any sugary drinks in the basket, sweet coffee, soda, juices. Let's go ahead and put it in the basket now. And any other unwanted food, just go ahead and see yourself putting it in the basket now. It's safe to let it go. Notice that there is room for all of these foods in the basket. And any other unwanted behaviors or habits, emotional eating, you can put in the basket now. Eating in front of the refrigerator or the cabinet. Any late night eating, binge eating, eating on the way home from the grocery store. Just see yourself putting all those unwanted behaviors in the basket now. Eating too fast. Any stress and anxiety around food and weight. And just feel a certain happiness and satisfaction that you've let it all go, and go ahead and drape a blanket that you can see on the side of the basket over all the contents. And it's now time to release the balloon. So go ahead and reach out and ignite the flame to the hot air balloon basket. See the powerful flame as it ignites the balloon, how fast it blows up, and then notice that the balloon is shifting off the ground now. It is going up and up and up, all the way up. It's above the trees now. until finally it completely disappears. You've completely eradicated your old negative relationship with food. You've done it. You've released it. And allow yourself to do the next logical step. Allow yourself to feel free from it, to dance around, to sing, remembering a new mantra of I am free from food now and forever. And just saying that to yourself, I am free from food now and forever, your inner voice. And remembering that mantra as a symbol to the transformation you've just created for yourself today. And notice that as you feel this new sense of freedom, you notice that there is an elevated path that's unraveling in front of you now. Notice the color of the path, notice the texture. And allow yourself to step onto this path. This is your path of never-ending health and well-being. And see yourself begin navigating as your new, lean, strong, and healthy self walking down that path. The new empowered decisions you make for your food, with your body, and how your weight continues to lessen as time goes on with your new decisions. So see yourself participating in movement that you love on a regular basis. Any kind of movement that you love, see yourself incorporating that into your health and your body now. How good it feels. Good. See yourself drinking plenty of water and how good it feels to hydrate your cells and have energy come in. Good. See yourself eating plenty of vegetables, just so many more salads and cooked vegetables, and just how good it feels to actually nourish your cells with the vitamins and the minerals that it needs to have your cellular functions work so effortlessly. Feels so good. And see yourself taking on eating fruit that you love and choosing moderate portions at meals. Easily able to say no to what doesn't feel good to you. And notice that if you were to even look back on the path, even if you had a pair of binoculars, you couldn't see the hot air balloon. It's completely disappeared. Remembering that mantra, I am free from food now and forever. And knowing that you can come back to this feeling at any time. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and notice that there is that same set of 10 stairs above you now. And in a moment, I'm going to count you back up from 1 to 10. And when you get to 10, you're going to come back into the room alive and awake, remembering that mantra, I am free from food now and forever, keeping with you all that your unconscious mind has learned today. So beginning your ascent up the stairs from 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Take a nice deep breath into your nose. Good. And exhale. 5 and 6. 7 and 8, bring small movements back into your fingers and your toes. 9 and 10, and welcome back. You can open your eyes, alive and awake, and back into the room. Welcome back, everyone. It's 9 o'clock right on the dot, so respecting your time. If you need to leave, you may do so. But if you have a few moments, if you have any questions, would love to hear you type in the chat. How are you feeling right now? Just type one word in the chat. How are you feeling now? Relaxed, amazing, relaxed. Carolyn, relaxed, calm, amazing, amazing, amazing. Yay. So, and then I'm curious. So if you were to feel like this more often, do you think that it would support your emotional eating? Just type yes in the chat if you can see how feeling like this could decrease the eating. Beautiful. Amazing. Good. Yes. So welcome to the entryway of permanent weight loss. When you actually master the emotionality that's been in the way our whole lives. Sorry that it took you so long to hear it of what's actually going on for some of you. Beautiful. So what I always tell people after the hypnosis is treat yourself like a science experiment. Okay, so just notice, right? You don't need to look too hard or whatever, but usually it's subtle. But for some people, like things that I hear is, wow, I didn't have my crackers that I always have in the afternoon, and I didn't even realize it till later. Wow, I actually was craving a salad after, for dinner. Hey, I actually went into the kitchen and I opened up the fridge and I didn't want anything and I closed it. Yeah, or hey, like I actually woke up the next day and I felt so much lighter and I like wanted to go for a walk. These are the normal types of results that people experience. So enjoy them. Imogen will follow up with each of you just to ask, if you have any questions or if you have any needs. And like I was saying in the beginning of the call, I'm actually going to pop off. I'm going to make Imogen the host. And I'm just going to ask her to share her for anyone who wants to stay, who agrees with the full shebang and, wanting to know what's possible. Her experience where she was before the program and after and where she is now. And then if you guys have any questions, then feel free to chat with her. But sometimes I feel like it could be nice not to have, the main leader in the room as it's happening. It's just more intimate and nice for you. So enjoy so much. Thanks for letting me lead you guys through that and hope to see you guys again real soon. There will be a replay. It will be up for 7 days. And please, we'll be back next month. So invite a friend. We're here to help people with this and to just help them feel not alone as well. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Hey guys, thank you so much for staying for that. I feel so relaxed. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, so I finished the program. I think it'd be over a year now. And yeah, like it feels almost like a little bit surreal to say it, but like I haven't had like any urges to binge or anything like that in that whole period since I finished the program. There was like a little bit of time after the program where I was still kind of like working through things, but just having the tools to be able to work through an emotion when it comes up, which previously I would just turn to food or something like that. And as I said in my messages before, I didn't even really know that I was an emotional eater. I just thought that I had an issue with willpower and not sticking to something. So, for years and years and years, I knew about health and I understood, what's right for me and what's wrong, like what's good food, what's bad food, and had tried so many diets, like literally you could name one and I'll be like, yep, I've tried it. And each time I'd do really well at the start, but then it would just be like, I would go out to a social event or something like that. So like in the house, I had complete control, and I wouldn't buy anything that was my like trigger foods or anything that I felt like I couldn't control myself with in the house. So I just wouldn't buy it. So of course, if there's nothing in the house, then there's nothing to binge on or there's nothing to overeat on. And when I would go out into an environment where those foods were on display or whatever, I just like couldn't control myself at all. I just had this overwhelming feeling of like, oh well, I'll just have one and then I'll start again tomorrow. So that typical like I'll start again tomorrow. And that has just happened for pretty much like since I was, yeah, like I said in the chat, since I was about like 10 or 11 and was conscious of this whole thing. And yeah, but like at the end of the day, it wasn't an issue with willpower. It was it's an emotional thing. And coming, full circle now, I can have whatever I want in the pantry, or, my housemates can have whatever they want. And I just won't have that emotional attachment to it where it's like, oh my God, I can't even look at it. And that fear of not being able to trust myself around different foods or stressful situations and like Christmases and that sort of thing. Like there's just like how we kind of felt after that hypnosis, like it's just like a relaxed feeling around food. And I never thought that I would be able to say that. So yeah, it completely changed my life in more ways than one. Really brought me closer to my friends and family. And I got to a point where I was just so desperate. And, I found Leslie's podcast, which, if you guys haven't listened to that, highly, highly recommend because, yeah, that just really opened my eyes to other things that I wasn't aware of that I was actually doing. But yeah, I just like got to a point where I didn't even want to leave the house because I was so ashamed of how I looked, and um, yeah, just like kept finding myself in this position where I just felt so anxious around food, and yeah, my weight has like definitely plateaued. It's been a slower process, but like definitely the way that I want to be doing it now, because those quick weight loss sort of things just don't work long term. And I think, yeah, that's what everyone that I've spoken to seems to have the same issue with. So yeah, it's just kind of slowly plateaued. But I'm like not even thinking about it. I'm like not even stressing about it. I'm not working out as much as I used to, and I'm still kind of losing weight. So I'm like, it's just I don't know. It just seems too good to be true, but it's real, and it's yeah happened to so many other women that were in the group as well. So if you guys have any questions for me about the program or anything, yeah, please feel free to ask, and I'm happy to answer. But yeah, you can write in the chat, or if you want to hop off mute, happy to as well. And yeah, I'm from Australia, if you couldn't guess by the accent. And yeah, I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, it's online. What if I want to do something in person to get like the full experience. But I'm on the other side of the world, and I was still able to receive all the support from the team and Leslie. Like, not once did I feel like I wasn't receiving the most out of the program. So, it doesn't matter if it's online or if you're, not in New York where Leslie is, you'll still definitely receive like the most amount of help. Everyone is so supportive in the group. So yeah, it's a really nice community in there. Yeah. All right, guys. If there's no more questions, I can't see any on the chat, or if no one wants to hop off mute, then yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining, and yeah, I'll send you a little text message. Yeah, no worries, Fan. But yeah, I'll send you guys a text message just with a few links if you wanted to book a call with Leslie just to find out more. And yeah, we can send you the replay as well, so you can watch over it again if you'd like. How hard is it to follow? Um, What do you mean? Which part? Like, how hard is the program to follow, or that sort of thing? Or I'll kind of explain what I think you're meaning, but let me know. Yeah, okay, cool. So, in terms of like how it's structured, it is so easy because it's broken down into like little modules, and they're released. I think from memory, I think it was like weekly or something, and it's just kind of like one thing to do each week. I won't spoil what they all are, but yeah, it's like a task to do each week, and it's kind of like a new challenge each week. So no matter like your schedule, if you're like we've got so many people in the program that have very tight schedules. They're parents, they've got full-time work or other commitments, that sort of thing. There's still, it's not like this huge long, workbook or anything that you have to follow. It's very easy to kind of blend in with your schedule if you are someone that's, quite busy. And, it's simple steps to follow. And, you get all the hypnosis that you can listen to whenever you want. I just used to listen to that before bed. And that was perfect, just put me to sleep and had the best sleep. But yeah, it's very straightforward and simple. And if you ever get stuck with anything, there's a big team to be able to help you and keep you accountable and keep you on track so that you're not falling behind. Because yeah, accountability is a big one, I think, for a lot of people. Just having someone or people to keep you on track and to keep you make sure that not getting left behind. So yeah, I would say it's very easy to follow when it's broken down really well. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I won't leave you too much longer. But yeah, as I said, I'll send you a message. So if you've got any other questions for me, you can just text me when I give you a message. So thank you so much again, guys. It was such a pleasure to chat with you, and all the best.
If you are serious about taking action on your struggle with food, body, and weight, then this is for you. Go ahead and text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483. Immediately after texting that number, you will get access to our free training that will tell you why you can't figure the food, body, and weight thing out, why you can't keep weight off even after you've been successful in the past, and how to actually overcome it, including a mini hypnosis session at the end. Don't miss out. Text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483.